So I'm just going to harvest these early onions, and this variety is Tough Ball, and it's my favourite variety really for overwintering. It's really reliable, and I want to take them out now before they go to seed, because there is the odd one, here's one example, that's gone to seed, and so I want to catch them before they all go. And they're all a good size now, plenty good enough really for harvesting. I want to count them up because I want to see what the density was that I planted this bed. So this bed's roughly 2 meters squared, and yeah, we'll see what we managed to get out. And what's interesting about this, I mean, obviously, you know, onions are onions, is that this is the asparagus bed, and so we've also taken a huge amount of asparagus out of this bed. And I think this works nicely, this interplant, because, you know, the asparagus is very deep rooted. It pushes up in between the onions. The onions are relatively shallow rooted, and they both come out, they both finish the harvest period at the same time. So the asparagus is pretty much finishing now, ready to be left to grow on, and the onions are as well. And so then once it's all cleared, I can give this bed a good feed, you know, a nice few barrel loads of manure, and then leave it to grow on over winter. And then when we come to sort of October time, plant onions in it again and just let the onions grow over winter. It's a lovely crop. So anyway, I'm going to just start taking these out. We will dry these, and there's no chance of rain right now, so I'm just going to leave them out. And I've got lovely sandy soil, so I can easily pull these out without sort of damaging them at all. So I started these, I think, sort of the middle of August. I'll put the date up anyway so you can see. And as I say, I planted them out sometime in October, that's the only kind of slight downside of this technique, is that you do end up having to cut your asparagus back a little bit earlier than most people do. But to be honest, I've been doing it for years and I've never really noticed any difference between my asparagus harvest and other people's asparagus harvest. So I don't really think the asparagus minds that, you know, being cut back just a few weeks earlier than it would ordinarily be cut back. And so yeah, this is looking great. I'm really pleased at this harvest so far. These are looking lovely, and there's no sign of onion fly or anything like that, so that's another big bonus. And you know, these onions, really, these are the ones we are going to be eating between now and August, but there's more than enough here, so we'll end up storing some of them. And that's another thing that's nice about Tough Ball. It does store pretty well. In general, it'll store until about January, and at that point, you know, we'll switch over to ordinary, main crop onions. So it turned out there were 90 onions in here, excluding these few here, which were salad onions, which I'd mistakenly planted in the bulbing onion bed, and these are pretty giant now. So these were some of the ones that had gone to seed. I'm not sure whether I'll get to use any of those for anything. And now you can see a bit clearer that there's an asparagus bed here. And yeah, so anyway, if you're interested in growing onions like this, then check out my ebook. There's a link to that down below. And you want the individual growing guide for onions, and there's a section in there for overwintered onions, and there's a section in there for main crop onions, as well as salad onions and all that sort of thing. So take a look at that if you're interested. I'm going to get this bed weeded, but yeah, pretty pleased. My name's Steve. This is the Seaside Kitchen Garden and Allotment channel, and I'll see you soon.